New home builders in Frisco and Prosper are stepping up those incentives once again. 2.99% rates, $50,000 your way, closing cost credits, and on some homes, actual price reductions of $70,000 or more. But here's what most buyers don't realize. The incentive that sounds the biggest is rarely the one that saves you the most. In this video, I'll break down the actual builder offers happening right now in Frisco and Prosper, show you how to compare them, and reveal the one situation where you may be able to get both a reduced price and a financing incentive on the same home. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, and I help buyers and sellers make smarter decisions in the Frisco and Prosper real estate markets. So if you're thinking about a new construction home and want help comparing builders, communities, and quick move-in opportunities, the link to schedule a call with me is in the description below. Now let's get into it. Most of the new home builders right now are not leading with big price cuts. Instead, they're focused on making the home more affordable in other ways. Lower monthly payments, less cash needed at closing, included upgrades, more money toward design selections or financing. And that's where buyers I've been talking to are getting confused. One builder advertises a low rate, another offers a big dollar amount, another offers included features, another reduces the price. So the real question is not which incentive is biggest. The better question is which incentive actually improves your financial position the most. And that depends on the math. So let's take a look at the math. Now here, Shaddock Homes is a great example of why the type of incentive matters. They're currently running two different programs. A 3-2-1 buy-down program with $10,000 in closing costs on move-in ready homes, or a 1% mortgage interest rate reduction on new builds. Now on the surface, they can sound somewhat similar. Both are lowering your mortgage rate, but they work very differently. A 3-2-1 buy down is temporary. Your rate is reduced in years 1, 2, and 3, and then by year 4, you're going to be paying the full note rate. Now, the 1% rate reduction, depending on how it's structured, may actually be permanent, meaning you are going to be enjoying a lower rate for as long as you keep that loan. So which one's better? Well, it depends on the buyer, the home, and how long you plan to stay in that home. But before you can decide, you need to see what each one actually does to the monthly payment. So let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so let me show you why rate incentives can be so powerful, but why the year you focus on really matters. So in this example, we're going to use a $750,000 loan amount, and we're looking at principal and interest payment only. So right now, the market rate for this program is 6.375, the full note rate. Now with that, your payment would be approximately $4,679 per month. At 5.375, that payment drops to $41.99. At 4.375, the payment goes down to $37.46. And at 3.375, you're at about $33.15 per month. Now, here's where I want you to think differently than most buyers. When a builder advertises a 3-2-1 buy down, the natural reaction is to look at that bottom number, the year one payment at 3.375%. And honestly, that's what the builder's marketing wants you to focus on. But that's not the payment you actually live with. You live with that payment for 12 months. Then in year 2, you're at 4.375, paying about $37.46. In year 3, you're at 5.375 and paying $41.99. And then in year 4, you're finally at the full note rate of 6.375, paying $46.79 per month. Now that's the payment that you get to live with for the next 27 years of the loan, unless you're able to refinance, of course. So what I'm saying here is that instead of asking yourself, what's my payment in year 1? The better question is, what's my payment in year 4? And am I comfortable with that number long term? Because the buy down is simply the bridge. It's not the destination. Now, here's the flip side to that. Looking at a permanent rate reduction, it works differently. Now, if a builder or a lender can get you a permanent 1% lower rate, that is going to save you approximately $480 per month, every month, for as long as you keep that loan. So you're going to be saving roughly $5,760 a year after year, for the life of the loan. Now, as a general rule of thumb, keep in mind that a 1% reduction in the mortgage rate has about the same monthly impact on the payment a 10% reduction to the price of the home would do. So it doesn't mean that price in this case doesn't matter. Price absolutely matters. But if affordability is the goal, a permanent rate reduction is one of the most powerful tools available and will move the needle much more than just a price reduction will. So the bottom line with this is that temporary buy downs can definitely help, but only if you're comfortable with the payment when the buy down ends. And by the way, that is the rate that the builder or the lender is going to qualify you for that loan at. Not the rate in year one, but that year four rate. Now, permanent rate reductions, on the other hand, help you every month that you own the home. So know which one you're being offered and make sure that what you're solving is for the right number for your specific situation. All right, so here you're seeing a ad that's out from Brookfield Residential at the Grove, and they're advertising an initial rate of 2.99% on select move-in ready homes. And let's be honest, a rate starting with a 2 is going to get a lot of attention, and it definitely should. But the headline rate is only part of the story. You still need to know whether it applies to all homes or only specific inventory, specific lots, whether it's permanent or whether it's temporary, what loan type is required, and what the total payment looks like when you add taxes, insurance, and HOA fees. I'm not saying that this is bad. Incentives like this can be genuinely valuable, but the headline rate should start the conversation and not end it. All right, next up we have Tradition Homes, and Tradition Homes are taking a different approach here. They're advertising $50,000 your way, which can be applied towards design selections, structural options, closing costs, or financing. I'll be honest, I really like this type of incentive because it gives the buyer flexibility. But flexibility means you need a strategy. Should you use it on upgrade? Should you use it towards closing costs? Should you buy down the rate? Should you use it to preserve cash? Should there be a combination of all of the above? And that answer honestly depends on you. For one buyer, lowering the monthly payment's going to matter most. For another, preserving cash for closing, or cash at closing, I should say, is going to matter more. For yet another, getting the home finished exactly the way they want is going to be the priority. So there is no universal best use of that $50,000. It really depends on your goals, your cash position, and how long you plan on staying in that home. All right, so this next example is from Toll Brothers, and Toll Brothers is running a quick move-in event with multiple stacked incentives here. But the headline number is the 2-1 rate buy down that brings that first year rate to 3.99%. And for the right buyer, that's compelling. But remember what we said earlier about temporary buy downs. That 3.99% is year one, and the payment steps up after that. They're also offering up to $90,000 in included features and $20,000 in closing costs with their preferred lender. And those incentives can help in different ways. Included features can make the home feel like, well, a better value. Closing cost assistance reduces the amount of cash you need to close, and the buy down reduces those early payments. The real test here is this: would you still want this home if the incentive wasn't attached to it? Because an incentive, honestly, should make a good decision better. It should never convince you to buy the wrong home in the first place. All right, now last up here, we have Southgate Homes. And this is the situation that I mentioned right at the beginning, where buyers may be able to get the best of both worlds. Now, Southgate Homes in Windsong Ranch is on closeout. And on their quick move-in homes, they are doing price reductions, but there's also a really good chance that you can get some additional financing incentives as well. So as you can see, these two homes here have been reduced from just over a million down to around 930,000, and I can almost guarantee that there'll be additional room in those prices as well, which is definitely a meaningful move for you. And depending on the home, the timing, the lender, there's probably, as I said, still going to be financing incentives layered on top of that. So that definitely creates an opportunity. Rather than choosing between a price reduction or a rate incentive, you may be looking at a home that already has a lower price on one that may go lower with room for additional financing benefits as well. But a quick caveat. Not every closeout home is automatically a deal. Sometimes a home is sitting because it's not on the best lot or it's in the best location. The floor plan or the finish selection is not broadly appealing. But when the home itself is strong and the builder is motivated, closeout inventory can be one of the best places to find value in new construction right now. And if you'd like me to pull the current closeout inventory for you, then go ahead and check that link in the description below and we will schedule that call. So here's the takeaway. Builder incentives are definitely back, but they're not all the same. Some reduce your payment, some reduce the cash needed at closing, some give you upgrades, some reduce the price, and some may only help temporarily. The incentive that sounds the biggest is not always the one that helps you the most. The best opportunity is the one where the price, the payment, the location, the floor plan, and the long-term value all come together and make sense. That is why this market is actually pretty interesting for buyers. We're not seeing massive price drops across the board right now, but if you know where to look and how to compare, there's real value to be found. So again, if you're thinking about buying new construction in Frisco or Prosper and want help sorting through all of these different builder incentives, the quick move-in home opportunities, and your financing options, I would be happy to help you compare all of those things. The link to schedule a call with me is in the description below. And if you're weighing new construction against a resale home, that's a conversation worth having as well. Sometimes the better value is the new build with the incentive. Sometimes it's the resale home with a motivated seller. The key is knowing how to compare them. So I thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.